What's up, guys? So today I want to talk about Apple Watch complications. Now, if you don't know, complications is the term that Apple coined for the modules on the face of the Apple Watch that are controlled by Apple Watch apps. Now, when watchOS 2 came out last summer, Apple allowed third-party developers to control their own complications, which you could then add to your watch face. And these, in my opinion, are the most interesting complications out there. So today I want to talk about my favorite third-party watchOS complications. First off, we've got Carrot Weather. Now, Carrot is my go-to weather app on the iPhone, and I've mentioned it in other videos, but I also really like the Apple Watch complication. It's definitely the most visually appealing weather complication I've seen, and it's simple. I mean, it has to be. It's got a tiny amount of real estate here. You basically just got a colorful image showing the current weather as well as the current temperature. And if you click on the icon, you're taken to the main Apple Watch app where you can get all sorts of detailed information and the forecast as well. Next up is the CNN News app. Now, there are a bunch of news apps available with complications for the Apple Watch that work about the same. CNN is just the one I use, but all of them, like I said, work about the same, and they work best with the larger module. As you can see here, we've got the CNN top story, and then it has a few lines of text, not that much, just as much as can fit in the limited space here. And that's it. You can just look down at your wrist and see the current CNN top story. My only complaint with this specific news app is that it seems to not refresh that often, which might be fine for you, but for me, I'm looking down at my watch face all throughout the day, and it's kind of annoying to keep looking down and checking it and seeing the exact same story. Next up is the Waterminder app. Now, this is the first water intake tracking app that I've used that I've actually felt motivated to keep using, and I think that there are two reasons for that. One is that it's a very visually appealing app that's very simple. It's just got this circular bar that you continuously want to keep filling up throughout the day, and it keeps you motivated to fill up that bar before the day is over. And the second reason is that it's really simple to use. The problem with any kind of food or water tracking app is that you have to open up your phone, unlock it, find the app, open up the app, and then type in or do whatever you need to do to log it. But with this complication, all you need to do is click on it once to open up the main Apple Watch app, and then click on the appropriate amount of water you've just had. And right here, it gives you three options: 8 ounces, 14 ounces, or 17 ounces, and you can click on other and then specify the exact amount. But I usually just click on whatever's closest to the amount of water I just drank. And it's really simple. So it's really just 2 taps, click on the complication, and then click on the amount of water. And this makes it really easy to log. And for this reason, I've kept using it, and it's kept me motivated to drink more water. Next up is an app called Just Press Record, and the name really says it all. You get a complication on your watch face with an image of a microphone, and when you press it, it's just one touch. It opens up the app and starts recording through the watch's internal mic, which is great if you just want to record voice memos or little ideas. One thing I use it for is I write all the music for my band, and whenever I think of a new idea, what I've done in the past is opened up GarageBand or opened up a voice memo on my phone to record the melody, but what I do now is I just press the little microphone image on my Apple Watch and it starts recording automatically, and it's just a much quicker, simpler way to do things, and they all get recorded to the Just Press Record app on your phone. Next up, we have an app called iTranslate. Now, what this does is it lets you dictate a phrase into the Apple Watch app, which it will then translate into a language of your choice. But it also has a complication that will periodically throughout the day show you different phrases in a certain language. Now, what I think this could be really cool for is traveling. If you're in a foreign country where you don't speak the language, then you can set this Apple Watch app to that country's language, and then throughout the day it will show you phrases in that language that might be useful to you. Next up is an app called HeartWatch. Now, this app tracks your heart rate throughout the day using the heart rate monitor on your Apple Watch. And then on the iPhone app, it will show you infographics throughout the day and throughout the week, so that you can go in there and take a look at what your heart rate is like on different days and over the course of weeks and months. But on the Apple Watch, it gives you a very simple complication with a heart on it that just gives you the last reading it took. And this can be useful, obviously, if your heart rate is something you're interested in keeping a very close eye on, but also in just learning about how different activities affect your heart rate, and seeing like what your heart rate is like before and after meals, for instance, or in the morning versus in the evening. Having this just sort of passive indicator right on your wrist can be an interesting way to keep track of that. Next up, we have DataMan Pro. Now, this is an iPhone app that is used to track the data that you're using on your iPhone. For those of us who use a lot of data, this is something that's very important to keep track of. I know I usually use all of my data about 3/4 into the month, so I like to keep a close eye on it and make sure I'm not overusing it, because if you run out, you know you're going to run into overage problems and you're going to be paying a lot of money for those overages. So on the iPhone app, it gives you statistics about how much you use over cellular and how much you use over Wi-Fi. But with the Apple Watch, it gives you a complication that basically just gives you a symbol that indicates where you're at right now. So if you're somewhere around 15% data used, it'll give you a green check mark. If you're on 85-90%, it'll give you this big orange warning sign with a slash through it. So it's just kind of a general indicator of your data health. One thing I do wish that it included was just a simple percentage indicator. I wish that I could look down and just see exactly what percentage of data I'm at. It doesn't quite get that granular though. It just shows you the basic symbols, which is the one complaint I have. But other than that, it's a good app. Next up, we have an app called Quartz. Now, this is another news app, but it's different to news apps like CNN and New York Times and stuff like that. It has an iPhone app that gives you news based on like texting. I'm not really going to get into that. I want to talk more about the complication. The Quartz complication is an emoji, but it's not just one emoji. It's an emoji that varies and is dependent on the current top news story. And if you click on that emoji complication, you'll be taken to the Quartz app, where it'll give you a haiku about the current top news story. It's definitely a unique way to get your news, and I thought it was definitely worth mentioning. Now, the last app I wanted to mention here is an app called Monogram. Now, what Monogram lets you do is customize your Apple Watch complications basically however you like. You can use the Monogram iPhone app to set any emoji to be used as the Monogram complication. And when you click on it on your Apple Watch face, you're taken to a page that just allows you to refresh your complications. So it doesn't do anything. It's just a way to customize your watch face with emojis. It's not really my kind of complications. I like complications that are actually informative and that tell you useful information. But if you want a specific emoji on your wrist all the time, then this is how you do it. Okay guys, so that is my list of the best Apple Watch complications out right now. These are all currently available on the App Store. I'll leave links in the description so you can go and check them out for yourself if you're interested in any of these. Definitely let me know what you think in the comments below. Did I leave any of your favorites out? I think I was pretty exhaustive in my search, so definitely let me know if there's anything I didn't cover here that you think should have been, and I'll definitely go and check them out. If you're new to this channel, please consider subscribing, and I'll keep you up to date with all sorts of new fun stuff. Thanks so much, guys, and I'll see you next time.